Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I didn't film an intro for this because my camera was messing up, but here it is. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back, and make sure that you guys give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And yeah, let's do this tutorial. So I'm using this little palette and this Morphe brush. It's the Morphe M513. And I'm using that whole bottom row of the mats. I'm starting with the lightest and working my way up to the darkest, placing it lower and lower each time. So I'm taking this one slightly lower than that transition shade. I was also watching Grey's Anatomy, so if I keep looking like that, it's because something's happening. I was mostly listening to it. But yeah, I'm obsessed, so yeah. Going in with this one, I'm just taking it really tight into that crease, not bringing it up too far because we do want that nice transition, and then taking a clean brush and blending it out. Now to the darkest shade in the palette, we're gonna pop it, concentrating it mostly on this outer part. Once most of the pigment is deposited, we kind of bring it into the crease and more towards the inner part of our eye. Doing the same with the other one as well. And I do have a shirt on. I was wearing a tube top, so I apologize. It was kind of strange when I was editing it, and I'm like, oh gosh. So yeah, FYI, I do have on a shirt. Now I'm taking a little pencil brush and I'm just popping that same dark shade really close to my lash line, just so it's a little bit darker, and then blending it out even more with that clean brush. Now I'm taking my paint pot. This is what I had primed my eye with originally, and it is in Painterly. Just sweeping that at the inner part, the tear duct, and then a little bit onto the eye, and taking a matte white shadow. You don't need the exact products, you know, just use what you got. I'm using the Tarte Sex Kitten liner to line my tight line, which is like the upper waterline, curling my lashes, and then using the I think it's called Bad Gal Bang mascara. It's from Benefit. Literally, it's like the blackest mascara I've ever seen. It's really cool. Now I'm taking my CoverGirl foundation and I'm just mixing a little bit of argan oil into that, and then using a beauty blender. This is the marble one from Beauty Blender, and I'm just patting that all over my skin. I do put less, and apparently I add dog hair to my foundation, so that's great. I put less on my forehead. And now I'm going in with my ColourPop No Filter Concealer. This is in Light 14, and I'm just putting that on like the high points of my face. Sometimes I don't wear foundation to work. This was my 20-minute work smoky eye. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the day and what I'm feeling, so yeah. And then I'm taking this Fit Me concealer just because it's a little bit lighter, just to highlight a little bit more at these little points here, and blending it right over top of the ColourPop one. Now I'm using the Makeup Forever concealer. I got sent this concealer. It's really dark, so I use it for like a cream contour type of thing. And I'm using my BH Cosmetics 113 brush, and I'm just popping that on all of the contour areas. And then just blending that out, making sure it's nice and blended with my Beauty Blender as I go. And yes, I can do this in 20 minutes before I go to work. I don't always wear eyeshadow to work. Typically I actually do not, but sometimes I do. Now I'm using these two CoverGirl pressed powder to set, and I'm using the lighter one on all of these areas. And now after that, I go in with a bigger brush and I use the darker powder and put that on all of the other parts of my face, and I make sure it's blended well into that lighter one, because you don't want to have like a line where there's like a darker powder and a lighter one, because you'll be able to see it. Now I'm using the Morphe matte bronzer, and the color's name is Blogger. Also, I didn't mention that how I primed my eye. I use my matte paint pot in Painterly, and I set it with the lighter CoverGirl powder. I just put it right over top. Now I'm going in with my lashes. The lashes I'm using are Siren from House of Lashes. The lash glue that I use, like questions about that too, weirdly, is from Tarte, and it's the clear one. They only have two, a clear and a black. I use the clear one just because sometimes I do this in my car, so it's just easier. And I'm just popping that on. It has no formaldehyde, no latex, none of that, so it is super good, you know, it just doesn't irritate anything. Going in with my Smashbox Blush Trio. Every time I apply a powder product to my face, I take my Beauty Blender, I don't add anything to it, and I just pat it into whatever that product is, just to make sure it kind of works it more into my skin instead of sitting on top of it, especially with highlighter. The highlight I'm using is Becca's Opal, and I'm using that cool little brush, and I'm just popping it on all of the points I want to highlight. I want it to be pretty glowy, and then going over that with the Beauty Blender again without adding anything to it. And then I want my shoulder blades to pop because I was wearing a tube top, and you know, it's springtime. If you're gonna wear anything where you're showing your collarbones and your shoulders, you definitely want to do this, and then pat that in as well so it's not just a powder laying on top of your skin. Now I take this powder and I press it in between my eyebrows and on my forehead. That's where I tend to get a little bit of creasing. Foundation kind of works into I have like a wrinkle right in between my brows from like giving that what the F kind of face all the time. So that one is like the most predominant. It's right in between my brows. It's one side is noticeable, the other side isn't. When I press that powder in with the Beauty Blender, it seems to really help, and you can't really tell it's there. So yeah. And now I'm going in with lipstick. It's my Anastasia Beverly Hills in Stripped. I go between this and Smashbox in Stepping Out. And the reveal. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Make sure you subscribe.